Hi guys, I'm your host Wolf Rayleigh, and we're back with some more Java coding. So let's get started. So where we last left off, we compartmentalized our frame code. So we have this init function at the top here, and which initializes our code. The game window, which is here, and our game function, which runs everything. Now, you could possibly throw everything into one class, but then it would be very bulky and very hard to understand where everything is going. So, I think it's about time to create a new class and start to move some of the information over there. Alright, so right click on main and click new class. And for this one, we'll call it game panel. And click finish. And game panel is within the same package as game, so meaning what that means is if I was to change these variables from private, just for demonstration purposes, remove the private. Now the width and height can be seen by the game panel class anytime it uses a game variable in its code. So yeah. So that's how that works. But for now, we'll keep these private. And I'm going to kind of start transferring some of this code over just to streamline things. So I'm going to move this window into our game panel class. New game panel class throws a few errors because we don't have the JFrame there yet, so we do private JFrame. And that takes care of a lot of the errors. And now we go back to here, and we can pull out width and scale from here, with height and scale, and that should make all those errors go away there. Move the space at the end. So now, and we'll also move this init method into our new game panel class, like so. And then we go back to here. And so now we have these two moved over. No longer have access to these. And we can move the width and height and scale from here. We can remove the playing state in JFrame. Playing state and JFrame can be removed now. Okay, so now we have main, which is now much more streamlined. Now, game no longer has access to these methods, so we have to change this to be game panel, and new game panel, right? And now we don't have access to these functions anymore because these are currently private, and that's why we're getting these errors. But by changing the visibility on these to package, those errors will go away. So all I have to do, I clicked on it and removed one of them. Now I just need to do the same with this one. And by removing that, now we have access to these variables. And we go back to here. Oh yeah, and this import can be removed because we no longer need it. And if we run the code, this should still function the same way as it previously did. So if we click Run Game, and let's switch screens for a moment. And if we go back here, we can see that our app is still loading up, same as it normally does, as it did in the previous tutorial. So episode, yeah. And so now if we click close, it closes. So now our code is much more streamlined than the previous time. And so now we just need, now we have the game panel, which basically is now performing the function of our JFrame functionality. And our normal game doesn't have any of that code. Right? So much more reduced area for the moment. So now, time to go back into our new game panel and need to change this up a bit. Now, what we need to do is type in, we want this to extend something, and we can either have it extends canvas or JPanel. I'm going to go off with JPanel since that's a little easier to deal with. So if we hover over it, it should say import JPanel, and if we click the import method, it imports all the information. And now we need to add a generated serial ID. Okay, and that adds this little layer of code to the top. And I mean, you can have space between, yeah, I'll keep space for now, but you can either have space or no space between the top there. So now we have this long serial number thing, which keeps track of everything. Okay, so now we're extending JPanel. So with JPanel, we have access to something new. So our code becomes slightly different now that we actually, before I show that the code changes, I'm going to show that this hasn't broken anything. So if we click that, open up our pop-up. As we can see, our little frame is still functioning. It's not doing anything different. And when we close, it still functions. Alright. I think I'll call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Wolf Raywing signing out. Bye bye!